this being a Business Central podcast and whatnot, and you being the IT professional specialist that you are, what do you think is more secure, on-premise or cloud software?
Yeah, I looked at this question that you gave me for a while when I was writing down my answer to it, or at least what I could think. And I think it's definitely changed. Right? I mean, it's just, I guess, mentality, right? You get stuck in your ways. You over time, you do things. I've been doing on-premise stuff forever, and we've seen the benefits of going cloud over time. And everybody adapts and sees the benefits and the negatives. And so I think I think there's benefits and positive and negatives to this. I don't think there's an answer I'm going to give. Oh, exactly. But like you guys are going to want, where I'm going to say the cloud is definitely the way to go, or on-premise is the way to go, because it really depends on the company that's implementing that, right? I mean, if you're a company that's not going to take things seriously with your on-premise stuff and just let things roll, like we kind of talked about, where people just think I'm not going to get hit, I'm not going to hit, then a SaaS, online, Business Central on, hosts
Office
online.
365.
Yes, that's all perfect for you, right? Microsoft's taking care of it. It's getting all updates on a regular basis. There's backups being done for you. So it gives you a lot of that sense of feeling safe, right? Yeah. Without, like, hey, I don't have to worry about that stuff. But again, then now you're going, back to you are relying on them.
Yeah.
So Microsoft to as well, to make sure that they're doing what they say they're doing, and that there are no vulnerabilities. Like something like this Exchange attack that we just were talking about, the one with the what was it called, Hafnium?
Yeah.
That we talked about. It's a perfect example of something that changed my mentality. Maybe a year ago, I said, you're on premise, you can turn yourself off, you can do a lot of, have your data out on somewhere you don't know where it is or who can get to it. Maybe on premise. A year ago, I would have said that. Now, after this happened, it woke me up to the fact that in all the press releases and all the documentation from Microsoft on the fixes and what systems were affected, it affected everything from Exchange 2019 back to 2010 on premise.
Yeah.
And a note on the bottom that said Exchange Online was not affected by this.
Yeah.
So that kind of went to me, okay. So there exactly. There's, nothing was required there. So it is a constant thing, but there are going to be companies that you're just, that on-premise just makes sense for. Yeah. Right. I mean, and but for the medium, small businesses, I think it's that curve is switching.
It's funny that you weren't able to give like a definitive answer, because when I was writing this question down to ask you, a year or so ago, like you're saying, I remember you talking about, on-premise being a little bit more secure. And then recently you had said, you gave an example of email hacking, right? When a lot more Office 365 accounts get hacked, but it's only one account that gets hacked, as opposed to when they hack it on your server, your entire server gets hacked and all the information with it. So
we had, and I'll talk Business Central specifically. I think I tell people, especially in the small to mid-size. So when you get upper mid-market, they have a big staff of people and they take all this stuff very seriously. Maybe it's different, but at the smaller side of scale, I think it's like, wait, so you think you're going to take better care of this and put better precautions in place than Microsoft is going to be putting in place if you're running Business Central online?
Right.
Like now they're like, well, is my data backed up? It's like, yes. Right? Like well, how do I know my backups are getting it? It's like your backups are getting done. I said, now there's a policy, I think, with Business Central, you can actually pick a restore point at any point within the past 30 days and restore your Business Central data back to that point. No, very few, if any, of our older Nav Dynamics customers on premise went through the trouble to set up that level of
and that ease.
Ease of restorability of their data.
Microsoft's spending more than $1 billion a year on security and backups and whatnot. So unless you're spending the same, you're
so I guess
this
kind of leads into my next thing. We're not trying to go either way again with this, but staying on the fence in that, and I want to put that out there for anyone listening, that Office 365 data is not backed up. Everybody thinks their data is on Office 365. My email is safe. It's backed up by Microsoft. It is not backed up.
Really?
If you want to go back to a year or someone gets into your account and hacks your stuff and deletes all your email, it is not backed up. Microsoft can get it back for you to a point in time, but there's no guarantee that they're gonna get everything back to you in a timely manner.
Can you pay extra for the backup or no?
There is, yes, always
Gotcha.
something there, catch, but I just wanted to throw out there, because everybody just assumes when they're on the cloud that everything's being backed up, just like, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that should be an assumption that should be made, and I think even us as IT people thought that was the assumption, right? It's out there, it's on your system. It's not gonna go down, it's not gonna go away like, like it would if it was on our system. If they get encrypted or hacked, they're gonna have all your data and restore it back.
Right.
But if you just had a particular thing where you had a legal lawsuit that you had to go back and find some emails that you deleted or got rid of 5 years ago, that is not gonna be.
Oh,
a
see, I wouldn't assume that
Yeah.
they did back
Yeah.
that up like
Yeah,
that.
so I just wanted
I
to throw
would-
that
I
out there
would.
for people, because that's something that a lot of times people just say, well, it's on the cloud, it's
See,
gotta be hosted, gotta be
yeah.
backed up. It's backed up.
I would
But
assume,
it's not for auditing, not for historical backups where you can go back and find
Right,
things from
exactly.
several years ago.
Yeah.
And there are things out there, because we were having a lot more companies because, right, I mean, how much business being done over the phone anymore where you can record a
Yeah.
conversation compared to email? Right? I mean, I'm signing off on $100,000 deal. I'm sending you an email back and authorizing it with a
Yeah.
PO, right? Or
Mhm.
PO number maybe.
Yeah.
But, so it's all through this communication. So if something goes awry in any of those communications, right? So there are things out there for auditing and logging and archiving and for HIPAA, all these types, PCI compliance, certain things require that you have that history for 7 years or whatever it is. So,
Yeah, it's very important. I mean, yeah, I mean, what, 15 years or maybe 20 years ago now, I guess. Yeah, that authorization was a physical signed contract, a piece of paper that got FedExed or faxed
Yeah.
over. And then you took that piece of paper and you put it in a file cabinet,
Exactly.
in a folder
Yeah.
somewhere. But now that's not happening.
and then
So
everybody used to
those-
talk about, well, what if our building burns down? What are we gonna do with all that? We gotta get this all on a computer,
yeah.
right? And now we're dealing with a different part,
Yeah.
right? We're dealing with a little different part of the
Yeah.
problem.
What's gonna be there to
I
combat that
think
then?
my takeaway is it's a cost of doing business, frankly.
Yes.
Now, if you want to protect your company or invite your data, right? And it doesn't have to be a significant cost.
No.
But it is a cost that you need these things in place to make sure that you're protected as much as possible.
And Microsoft is seeing their shortcomings in certain areas, and they're making those things available to people at a better, those regular security features available. In the past, those were additional add-ons, so nobody did it, right? They just, well, with the gaming's gotta be good enough, right? Well, no, you had to add them on. Well, they're making some of those things like base multi-factor available as part of the base packages.
Yeah.
Because everybody's seeing this is affecting everybody. This isn't just, it's negative for anybody to say that, hey, my Office account got hacked. It doesn't look good on Microsoft or anything like that. So they want to try to eliminate these things and put these things in place as well. So, yeah, it's a very fine line.